Good morning. Welcome everybody. Myself Dr. Manjesh Kumar, and I am here to discuss a very important topic of Indian Constitution and polity with you. So today we are going to discuss the topic, the Council of Ministers. The Council of Ministers. And we will discuss each and every aspect of the topic, which means today's discussion is going to include such aspects like what is the difference between the Council of Ministers and the Cabinet. What is the prescribed size of the Council of Ministers in India or in Indian Constitution? What are the qualifications or conditions to become a minister? What is individual responsibility of a minister? What is collective responsibility of the Council of Ministers? So these aspects we are going to discuss. Along with this, if time permits, we will discuss the concepts like what is kitchen cabinet, what is shadow cabinet. Shadow cabinet basically does not exist in India. It is basically a feature of British political constitutional system. So we will look into all those issues. But before that, let us start with the first thing, and that is first thing that we are going to discuss is difference between the Council of Ministers and the Cabinet. So give a heading, the Council of Ministers and the Cabinet. Difference between the Council of Ministers and the Cabinet. तो शुरुआत कहां से करेंगे? काउंसिल ऑफ मिनिस्टर्स और कैबिनेट में क्या डिफरेंस है? What is the difference between cabinet and the council of ministers? So write down first the council of ministers. इसके बारे में लिखते हैं. इसको लिखिए, लिखो. The council of ministers is a larger body. The council of ministers is a larger body. Is a larger body which includes the prime minister, and all the ministers, which includes the prime minister and all the ministers, which include the prime minister and all the ministers, which includes the prime minister and all the ministers. For example, write down, for example, the cabinet ministers. For example, the cabinet ministers, the cabinet ministers, minister of state, cabinet minister, then minister of state, then third, minister of state independent charge, minister of state independent charge, and finally deputy minister. Deputy minister. So again I am dictating what is Council of Ministers. Council of Ministers is a larger body which consists of the cabinet ministers, minister of state independent charge and deputy minister. तो ये सारे जब मिल जाएंगे प्लस प्राइम मिनिस्टर ऑल्सो. सो डू रिमेंबर, प्राइम मिनिस्टर is also a minister, and therefore sometimes the prime minister may himself head a ministry like Nehru ji, and generally he used to head the Ministry of Foreign Affairs. वो नेहरू जी अपने पास रखते थे. Prime Minister may head a ministry or he may not. He may act as a supervisor also, but technically, legally, constitutionally, the Prime Minister is also a minister. Council of Ministers is a larger body which includes the Prime Minister and all the ministers, and all the ministers means cabinet ministers, Minister of State independent charge, and deputy minister. Now let us see what is cabinet. What is cabinet? तो अब जानेंगे cabinet क्या है. So write down the definition of cabinet. Cabinet is a smaller body. So in comparison to council, it is smaller. Cabinet minister. Cabinet is a smaller body which consists of the Prime Minister, and the cabinet ministers, which consists of the Prime Minister and the cabinet ministers, which consists of the Prime Minister and the cabinet ministers. Now we wrote the definition of the Council of Ministers and the cabinet. So this is larger body, this is a smaller body. Prime Minister is part of both of them. But in this Council of Ministers, all the ministers are included, whatever their rank is. Maybe cabinet minister, maybe state, or maybe deputy. But the cabinet is a smaller body which only includes cabinet ministers. So it would be better to describe it like this. This larger circle is the Council of Ministers, and this smaller circle is the cabinet. So this is a layman's. This is a very general type of difference or distinction between the Council of Ministers and the cabinet. Now let us go into the detail of this. And if we go into the detail, then only we can understand the role of cabinet. Then only we can answer such questions, or we can deal such statements like the cabinet is wheel within the wheel. कभी ऐसा एग्जाम में आ जाए तो उसके लिए थोड़ा सा एनालिसिस जरूरी है. So now to understand this topic properly, we need to first know what cabinet minister is, what is Minister of State, what is a minister with independent charge, and what deputy minister is. तो अब एक एक करके हम लोग इसको जानेंगे. So first let us begin with the cabinet minister. Give a heading, the cabinet minister. Cabinet minister. Cabinet minister. And write its definition. इसको लिखो. Cabinet minister is a minister. Cabinet minister is a minister. Cabinet minister is a minister who generally, cabinet minister is a minister who generally heads a ministry. Cabinet minister is a minister who generally heads a ministry. And he has the right, to participate, in the meetings of the cabinet. He has the right to participate in the meetings of the cabinet. He has the right to participate in the meetings of the cabinet. So let us see what a cabinet minister is. As far as the hierarchy, the rank of ministers is concerned, this cabinet minister is at the top. And we saw two things regarding him. Cabinet minister is head of ministry. That is the first thing. He is head of the ministry. And second, he has the right word is very important, right to participate or right to take part in the meetings of cabinet. Cabinet minister, first he is the head of ministry, and second he has the right to participate in the meetings of cabinet. To understand this cabinet minister properly, first we must have a basic insight into the concept of ministry. Now you see, ministry and department, that is a separate topic on Civil Services General Studies paper 2. So of course that we are going to discuss in much detail later on, but not at this moment. At this moment we will only see a basic glimpse of the term minister, so that we are able to understand basic glimpse of the term ministry, so that we are able to understand what a cabinet minister is. So if you see the organization of government, or let us see Government of India, and do remember this is true about state government also. So same structure state में भी चलता है, but here we will talk about the Government of India. Now Government of India has to perform many tasks. It has to conduct foreign affairs. It has to manage the economy. It has to maintain law and order. It has to improve, it has to take care of health, education. It has to run railways, aeroplanes. It has to promote culture. So the Government of India has to perform many tasks which are diverse in nature. And one person cannot perform all these tasks. How much talented he is, but one person cannot. It is impossible practically. That same person is conducting the foreign policy also, looking after economy also, maintaining law and order also, then science and technology. This is not possible. And therefore, for administrative convenience, administration के convenience के लिए, for administrative convenience, we divide the task of government into various ministries. And same is true for state government also. So government को हम ministries में बांटते हैं. For example, we have the Ministry of Finance, or what we call Finance Ministry, to look after financial matters. Then Home Ministry, to look after law and order, education, health, rail, foreign affairs. So administratively, the Government of India is divided into ministries, so that the business of the government is conducted properly and efficiently. तो इसके लिए हम एडमिनिस्ट्रेटिव किस में बांटते हैं? मिनिस्ट्री में. Now, how many ministries there would be? Who shall decide? So this all is the prerogative of the Prime Minister of India. And Prime Minister of India, with the help of what we call PMO, Prime Minister's Office, will decide how many ministries there would be. So whatever task is at the priority for the government may form a new ministry. Just take few examples. In 2014, when Narendra Modi first time became the Prime Minister, and he won elections from Varanasi. So in Varanasi, the cleaning of Ganga, that was a very important issue during that election. जहाँ ये नारे दिए गए कि माँ गंगा ने बुलाया है, गंगा का बेटा है, all such things. So the government, now when the government was formed after election, so Modi ji had to take this issue seriously, and therefore he formed he created a new ministry, ministry for cleaning the Ganga. So Ganga Swachhata Mantralaya, he created a new ministry which did not exist earlier. Similarly, in his second term, 2019 to 24, a new ministry was created, Ministry of Cooperatives. So Prime Minister can create a new ministry. Similarly, if a ministry has become out of fashion, अब उसकी जरूरत नहीं है, so that ministry can also terminated by the Prime Minister. 2 or more ministries can be merged to form a new ministry. So reshuffling. So all this is the prerogative of the Prime Minister. तो कितनी मिनिस्ट्रीज होंगी, वो कब होंगी, कैसे होंगी, ये सब हमारे प्राइम मिनिस्टर डिसाइड करेंगे. नाउ हियर वी सॉ, नाउ there is much depth in this topic ministry, but do remember we are not discussing the topic ministry. Ministry को केवल उतना ही पढ़ रहे हैं जितने से आपको ये समझ में आए कि कैबिनेट मिनिस्टर क्या है. So anyway, leave it here only. This is ministry. Now within a ministry we have various departments. For example, finance ministry. So finance ministry, we have department of economic affairs. एक नया डिपार्टमेंट है which performs the task of budget making. तो बजट बनाने के लिए एक अलग डिपार्टमेंट. Similarly, we have department of revenue, department for tax. In foreign affairs, we have many departments, Department of America, Department of Europe, Department of Latin America. So do remember that a ministry is divided into departments. Now those ministries which have to perform many tasks, vast horizon they have, so their number of departments is more. So finance ministry, home ministry, foreign affairs, they have many departments. Then there may be certain other ministries which have very less number of departments because they have less tasks to perform. तो साइंस टेक्नोलॉजी में कम डिपार्टमेंट होंगे, कल्चर में कम डिपार्टमेंट होंगे, एंड देयर मे बी अ मिनिस्ट्री इवन विदाउट अ डिपार्टमेंट. इतना छोटा है कि उसमें कोई डिपार्टमेंट भी नहीं है. सो हियर वी सॉ दैट मिनिस्ट्रीज इज डिवाइडेड इनटू डिपार्टमेंट. नाउ which ministry shall consist of how many departments? This again is the prerogative of the prime minister. तो ये सारा प्राइम मिनिस्टर करेगा. So at this point only this much is required regarding ministry and department, because we are not discussing the topic ministry and department, we actually are discussing cabinet minister. And to understand cabinet minister we need to have a basic understanding of the concept of ministry. तो केवल उतना ही पढ़ा. अब आ जाओ, let us come to cabinet minister. So first feature of this cabinet minister is he is head of ministry. He is head of ministry. That means there can be only one cabinet minister in a ministry. तो फाइनेंस मिनिस्ट्री में कई मिनिस्टर्स हैं, बट कैबिनेट मिनिस्टर केवल एक होगा बिकॉज बॉस कैन बी ओनली वन. So first of all, he is the head of ministry. Secondly, he has the right to participate in the meetings of cabinet. Now what is cabinet? Cabinet is the main decision making body for the government, and all the important policy decisions are taken in the meetings of cabinet. So somehow cabinet decides the policies of the government, and this person who is a cabinet minister has the right word is very important, he has the right to take part in the meetings of the cabinet. It means that he is among the few policy makers of India. वो भारत भाग्य विधाताओं में से एक है. Few persons who run this country, who run India, and the cabinet minister is one among them. तो कैबिनेट मिनिस्टर के दो फीचर्स आपको याद रखने. फर्स्ट, he is head of ministry, and second, he has the right to take part in the meetings of cabinet. And what is cabinet? Cabinet is a group of cabinet ministers and which is the main decision making body. तो भारत भाग्य विधाताओं में से एक है. Now it is very clear from this description that the top leader of the party, top leaders of the party, and they shall be designated by the prime minister as cabinet minister. और कौन ये तय करता है? प्राइम मिनिस्टर. कि who shall be cabinet minister, who shall be minister of state, all is done by the prime minister. So the senior most leaders of the party are generally designated as the cabinet minister, and the ministry is known by the cabinet minister. So when we say that Amit Shah is the Home Minister of India, that technically means Amit Shah is the cabinet minister in the Ministry of Home Affairs. तो इसी में क्या कहेंगे कि वो होम मिनिस्टर है. मिनिस्ट्री, व्हेन वी से राजनाथ सिंह is defense minister of India, that technically means that Rajnath Singh is the cabinet minister in the Ministry of Defense. तो मिनिस्ट्री उसी के नाम से जाना जाता है. Of course, the top leaders of the party are given the rank of cabinet minister by the prime minister. तो सबसे पहले हमने देखा कि what is cabinet minister. पहले हमने देखा कि cabinet minister क्या होता है. What is a cabinet minister? Now let us come to Minister of State. Minister of State. Minister of State. इसका definition लिखते हैं. Minister of State. Write down. Minister of State is a minister. Minister of State is a minister. Is a minister who is head of one or more departments. Who is head of one or more departments. Who is head of one or more departments in one or more ministries. In one or more ministries. Who is head of one or more departments in one or more ministries. In one or more ministries. Now we saw that cabinet minister is the top rank minister. वो सबसे बॉस है, पूरे मिनिस्ट्री का बॉस है. Now few basic things first regarding cabinet minister, तब आएंगे स्टेट को. So cabinet minister, for example, do we need to have separate cabinet ministers for each ministry? No. Same person can be given the charge of one or two or more ministry. So for example, Amit Shah is presently heading the Ministry of Home Affairs plus the Ministry of Cooperatives. तो एक ही कैबिनेट मिनिस्टर को एक मिनिस्ट्री भी दिया जा सकता है, दो भी, ज्यादा भी. दिस ऑल डिपेंड्स अपॉन द प्राइम मिनिस्टर. नाउ कम टू मिनिस्टर ऑफ स्टेट. नाउ मिनिस्टर ऑफ स्टेट इज लोअर इन रैंक देन द कैबिनेट मिनिस्टर. नाउ कैबिनेट मिनिस्टर इज हेड ऑफ होल मिनिस्ट्री, बट मिनिस्टर ऑफ स्टेट इज हेड ऑफ अ डिपार्टमेंट. सो इन ए मिनिस्ट्री there is only one cabinet minister, but there may be many minister of states, and they are generally head of department. For example, in finance ministry we have Nirmala Sitharaman as finance minister, but we have a minister of state for the department of revenue. तो revenue department का अलग minister है, वो है minister of state. He is working under the supervision of cabinet minister, but वो है. Similarly, we have minister of state for department of economic affairs in the ministry of finance. तो हम economic affairs के department के लिए अलग minister है और revenue के लिए अलग minister है, और वो है minister of state. And do remember, the state word causes here some confusion, but this मिनिस्टर ऑफ स्टेट हैज नथिंग टू डू विथ स्टेट और प्रोविंशियल गवर्नमेंट. इसका प्रोविंशियल या स्टेट यूपी से और तमिलनाडु से और हरियाणा से कुछ भी लेना देना। दो द वर्ड स्टेट, मिनिस्टर ऑफ स्टेट हैज बीन यूज्ड, बट इसका स्टेट से कोई लेना देना, एंड सेम स्ट्रक्चर वी हैव इन द स्टेट ऑल्सो। तो जब यूनियन में मिनिस्टर ऑफ स्टेट है, so he has nothing to do with a state. Now we saw that cabinet minister is one. He is head of the ministry. He has the right to participate in the meetings of cabinet, and there is only one cabinet minister in one ministry. But minister of state is head of a department, and there may be more than one minister of state in a department, depends upon the size of the department. Now, can a person be given charge of more than one departments? If he is a minister of state, yes. So same person, for example A, and he may be the head of revenue department in the Ministry of Finance. At the same time, he may be the head of a department in Ministry of Railways. तो एक ही पर्सन को कई जगह भी रखा जा सकता है. So now we saw two things: cabinet minister who is the head, and minister of state who is subordinate to or deputy to him. Now, to have a proper conceptual understanding of cabinet minister and minister of state, we can take the example of district administration. That shall make the whole concept very clear. Now, if you see at district level, we have a district, and a district comprises of few subdivisions. तो मान लो डिस्ट्रिक्ट में 3-4 सब डिवीजन है, बड़ा डिस्ट्रिक्ट है ज्यादा सब डिवीजन, छोटे डिस्ट्रिक्ट हैं कम सब डिवीजन. So that is like a ministry. District magistrate, DM or collector is the overall head of the district, and for different subdivisions we have SDMs. तो SDM अलग अलग सब डिवीजन, and those 3, 4, 5 जितने भी SDMs हैं, they work under the supervision of the DM. So same or a very similar relationship is between the cabinet minister and minister of state. So cabinet minister may be compared with the district magistrate for a ministry. तो एक डिस्ट्रिक्ट में एक ही डिस्ट्रिक्ट मैजिस्ट्रेट होता है, तो कैबिनेट मिनिस्टर भी मिनिस्ट्री में एक ही होता है. नाउ विद इन दैट डिस्ट्रिक्ट मैजिस्ट्रेट few SDMs are working similarly. Within that under that cabinet minister, few minister of states are working, and SDMs are the heads of their respective subdivisions. Minister of state, and they are heads of their respective departments. So here we saw two: what is cabinet minister and what is minister of state. Now let me first see few comments. बहुत सारे comments आ रहे हैं, तो उसके बाद आगे बढ़ेंगे. SSC में GS लाइव क्लास चलिए. व्हाट इज ओके. सो आर द थिंग्स क्लियर टिल हियर? जस्ट टेल मी. दो चीजें पहले आपको क्लियर हुई, तब आगे बढ़ेंगे, क्योंकि इसके बाद आता है बहुत ही इंपॉर्टेंट ये वाला थर्ड वाला. बट इज दिस टू क्लियर? फर्स्ट द कैबिनेट मिनिस्टर, ये क्या होता है क्लियर हुआ, और मिनिस्टर ऑफ स्टेट, इस ये दो क्लियर हो रहे हैं या नहीं? जस्ट टेल मी. फर्स्ट एंड सेकेंड ये दोनों क्लियर है या नहीं? जस्ट टेल मी सो दैट आई कुड मूव फर्दर. फर्स्ट और सेकेंड में कोई डाउट? देन आई विल कम टू थर्ड. थर्ड इज ए बिट मोर टेक्निकल. The cabinet minister and the minister of state, are they clear? I think sound is audible or not. Yes, clear. Okay, fine. So let me check things. Yeah, everything is absolutely fine. Just a minute. So we saw first and second. Now let us come to third. मिनिस्टर ऑफ स्टेट इंडिपेंडेंट चार्ज, दिस इज वेरी इंटरेस्टिंग। तो अब आपको हेडिंग क्या देना है? थर्ड, मिनिस्टर ऑफ स्टेट इंडिपेंडेंट चार्ज, मिनिस्टर ऑफ स्टेट इंडिपेंडेंट चार्ज, मिनिस्टर ऑफ स्टेट इंडिपेंडेंट चार्ज, इंडिपेंडेंट चार्ज। तो राइट डाउन, इसको लिखो, मिनिस्टर ऑफ स्टेट इंडिपेंडेंट चार्ज, पहले इसको लिखेंगे तब समझेंगे। मिनिस्टर ऑफ स्टेट इंडिपेंडेंट चार्ज इज अ मिनिस्टर, मिनिस्टर ऑफ स्टेट इंडिपेंडेंट चार्ज इज अ मिनिस्टर who has the rank of, who has the rank of, who has the rank of a minister of state, who has the rank of a minister of state, who has the rank of a minister of state, but he is given the charge of, he is given the charge of the ministry, he is given the charge of ministry, he is given the charge of ministry. No cabinet minister, write down, no cabinet minister is appointed, no cabinet minister is appointed in his ministry, no cabinet minister is appointed in his ministry, no cabinet minister is appointed in his ministry, in his ministry. He does not have the right, he does not have the right to participate, he does not have the right to participate in the meetings of cabinet, he does not have the right to participate in the meetings of cabinet, in the meetings of cabinet, but whenever the prime minister invites, but whenever the prime minister invites, whenever the prime minister invites, whenever the prime minister invites, he can participate, he can participate, but whenever the prime minister invites, he can participate, he can participate in the meetings of, he can participate in the meetings of cabinet, he can participate in the meetings of cabinet, he can participate in the meetings of cabinet, in the meetings of cabinet, he can participate in the meetings of cabinet, meetings of cabinet. Now let us understand this third, minister of state independent charge, which is very interesting and which is a bit more complex than others. तो बाकियों की तुलना में थोड़ा सा ज्यादा कॉन्सेप्चुअल है, ज्यादा चैलेंजिंग भी है, बट उसको समझते हैं। नाउ मिनिस्टर ऑफ स्टेट इंडिपेंडेंट चार्ज, दिस इज अ पर्सन और अ मिनिस्टर who has been given the charge, who has given the rank of minister of state. That means as far as the rank is concerned, he is lower than the cabinet minister and his rank is similar to the rank of a minister of state. Now what does it mean, rank? You see, ministers do not get salary, तो मिनिस्टर्स को सैलरी नहीं मिलती है, तो रैंक का ये मतलब नहीं है कि इसको ज्यादा सैलरी उसको कम, मिनिस्टर्स को सैलरी नहीं, देन फिर मिनिस्टर्स को क्या मिलता है? So actually a minister gets salary ऑफ अ मेंबर ऑफ पार्लियामेंट। तो मेंबर ऑफ पार्लियामेंट की जो सैलरी है वही सैलरी मिनिस्टर की, अलग से मिनिस्टर की कोई सैलरी नहीं। और कैबिनेट मिनिस्टर को भी वही सैलरी मिल रही जो एक एमपी को मिल रही, मिनिस्टर ऑफ स्टेट को भी, डेप्टी सबको वही मिल रही। बट मिनिस्टर्स गेट अलाउंसेस, उनको अलाउंस बहुत मिलता है, भत्ता, एंड देयर दे गेट मच सैलरी से भी ज्यादा उनको अलाउंस मिलता है। एंड एज फार एज द अलाउंस इज कंसर्न, कैबिनेट मिनिस्टर्स अलाउंस विल बी मोर देन द अलाउंस ऑफ मिनिस्टर ऑफ स्टेट। तो इसका रैंक मिनिस्टर ऑफ स्टेट का है, तो इसको कम अलाउंस मिलेगा। सिमिलरली रेसिडेंस, तो कैबिनेट मिनिस्टर्स को बहुत बड़ा घर मिलेगा, मिनिस्टर ऑफ स्टेट को छोटा मिलेगा। सिक्योरिटी, व्हीकल, एवरीथिंग। So he has the rank of a minister of state, but the prime minister makes him in charge of whole ministry. Now you see, generally a ministry is headed by cabinet minister. अभी तक पढ़ा कि मिनिस्ट्री को कौन हेड कर रहे हैं, कैबिनेट मिनिस्टर। बट हियर इज ए पर्सन हु इज a minister of state, but he is heading the ministry. And the prime minister would not appoint a cabinet minister in his ministry. तो उसके मिनिस्ट्री में प्राइम मिनिस्टर ने कोई कैबिनेट मिनिस्टर को अपॉइंट ही नहीं किया. एंड द पर्सन, इवन ही इज अ मिनिस्टर ऑफ स्टेट, बट ही इज द हेड ऑफ द मिनिस्ट्री. तो रैंक नीचे है, काम बड़ा है. नाउ सिंस ही इज नॉट ए कैबिनेट मिनिस्टर, therefore he cannot participate in the meetings of cabinet. उसका राइट नहीं, वो केवल कैबिनेट मिनिस्टर है. बट whenever the prime minister invites, जब इनवाइट करेंगे कि आज की मीटिंग में पार्टिसिपेट कर लो, then he can participate. Now cabinet minister will participate in the meeting of cabinet as a right, and cabinet क्या है, decision making body, so he is the decision maker. Minister of state cannot participate, वो कर ही नहीं सकता. And minister of state independent charge can take part in the meetings of cabinet, but only when the prime minister invites him, not otherwise. So he doesn't have right. Now a question would arise in our mind or in the mind of anybody, that if the prime minister has made a person in charge of the ministry, पूरे ministry का इंचार्ज बना, then why does he not gives him the rank of a cabinet minister? So if you are asking me to discharge the duty of a cabinet minister, then why you have given me rank of minister of state? तो आप मेरे से अगर डीएम का काम करवा रहे हो तो एसडीएम का घर और व्हीकल और रैंक क्यों दे रखा है? नाउ दिस इज ऑल ड्यू टू प्रैक्टिकल रीजंस. These are all due to practical concerns. Now you see, sometimes it happens that there is a person who is very new in the party. अभी फर्स्ट टाइम इलेक्शन जीत गया है, so very young, new in the party. But the prime minister has faith, has trust in his administrative skills. प्राइम मिनिस्टर को पता है कि ये जबरदस्त है, and he wants, the prime minister wants to use the skills of that person in administration. तो मोदी जी चाहते हैं कि इसको हम यूज करें बढ़िया से, and Modi ji knows that this person has the capability to head the ministry entirely. इसको बढ़िया से चला सकता है. But the person is new in the party. Now you see, party has a hierarchy, party has a discipline, and even the top leaders would recognize that. तो अभी फर्स्ट टाइम चुनाव जीत गया है, और अगर मोदी जी उसको कैबिनेट मिनिस्टर का रैंक दे देंगे, सो ही शैल बी इक्वल टू अमित शाह एंड राजनाथ जी. बट दैट मे give a bad negative impression in the minds of the colleagues of prime minister. तो राजनाथ जी को लगेगा कि ये क्या कर रहे हैं मोदी जी. A common party worker shall feel discouraged कि एक आते ही कैबिनेट मिनिस्टर बन गया, I am struggling for 20 years. तो मोदी जी पार्टी डिसिप्लिन को ब्रेक नहीं करना चाहते, बट मोदी जी wants to take the benefit of that person for administration of ministry. So in that case, what the prime minister would do? He shall designate that person as minister of state so that he knows his junior status. He knows that he is not equivalent to Amit Shah or Rajnath Singh. But at the same time, the prime minister would say that run the ministry according to your own wish. He designates him as minister of state independent charge. And in his ministry, he won't appoint any minister. Now, this person being the minister of state, of course, cannot be a policy maker, so cannot participate in the meetings of cabinet. But if the prime minister invites, he can participate. So let us see in what circumstances he shall be invited by the prime minister. In what circumstances he shall be invited by the prime minister. So for example, a meeting of cabinet is taking place and the agenda includes something related to ministry of this person. अब इसके मिनिस्ट्री से रिलेटेड कोई चीज कैबिनेट में डिस्कस होनी एंड देयर इज नो कैबिनेट मिनिस्टर टू बी देयर एंड प्रेजेंट द फैक्ट्स एंड फिगर्स. सो इन दैट मीटिंग द प्रेजेंस ऑफ दिस पर्सन इज नीडेड एंड देन द प्राइम मिनिस्टर विल सेंड ए मैसेज दैट in today's or in XYZ meeting on that day, the agenda includes some of the topics which are dealt by your ministry. So please come and take part because your presence is necessary. Then that person shall participate. Otherwise, he cannot participate as a right in the meetings. So this is third. And third is Minister of State independent charge. So here we saw cabinet minister, minister of state and minister of state independent charge. Now deputy minister, give a heading deputy minister. एक heading दीजिए deputy minister क्या होता है. Give a heading deputy minister. Deputy minister. So write down इसका definition लिखो. Deputy minister is a minister. Deputy minister is a minister who neither heads a ministry. Deputy minister is a minister who neither heads a ministry, nor a department, who neither heads a ministry nor a department, but generally he assist करता है, but generally he assists the cabinet minister. Generally he assists the cabinet minister and the minister of state. Cabinet minister and the minister of state in discharging their duties. Cabinet minister and minister of state in discharging their duties. Cabinet minister and minister of state in discharging their duties. Any real life examples for minister of state? Yes, in every government we have 3-4 such things. So in 2014 when Modi ji came first time at power, so General VK Singh. You see General VK Singh was army chief. So BJP में तो बहुत बाद में आए. So in BJP he was young. So he was given the status of Minister of State in the Ministry of Northeast. So sometimes अभी भी आप Google search करोगे मिल जाएंगे. So there are few ministers independent charge almost in every government, but they are very less. वो बहुत कम है, few होता है. So of course, yeah. So here we saw, let us say deputy minister. तो डेप्यूटी मिनिस्टर इज लोएस्ट इन रैंक. ही इज नाइदर हेड ऑफ मिनिस्ट्री नॉर हेड ऑफ डिपार्टमेंट. बट वेन एवर द वर्कलोड इंक्रीजेज इन ए मिनिस्ट्री, मान लो डिफेंस मिनिस्ट्री में बहुत सारी फाइलें आ गई, बहुत सारी डील्स करने, एंड देयर इज टू मच वर्कलोड, एंड राजनाथ जी नीड्स 2 असिस्टेंट्स, वो पार्टी के हो, रिलायबल हो, जो फाइलें निपटाने में उनको हेल्प कर सके. So he'll request Modi ji, kindly give me 2 assistants. So they are generally deputy ministers. So कैबिनेट मिनिस्टर सबसे पावरफुल लीडर्स, और ये न्यू कमर्स जो सबसे अभी पार्टी में आए ही हैं, पहली बार चुनाव जीता है. सो दे आर गिवन द डेजिग्नेशन. मोदी जी कहेंगे यू आर डेप्टी मिनिस्टर इन द मिनिस्ट्री ऑफ डिफेंस, तो आपको मैं डिफेंस मिनिस्ट्री में डेप्टी मिनिस्टर करता हूं. दैट मीन्स ही वुड असिस्ट the cabinet minister and the minister of state in the ministry of defense in discharging their duties. So deputy ministers are lowest. So here we saw the cabinet minister, the minister of state independent charge, and deputy minister. Now for prelims, for objective, one thing is very important, and that is here we saw 1, 2, 3, 4. But as far as the types, kinds, ranks of ministers are concerned, it is only 3. तो याद रखना कि 3 ही रैंक आपको एग्जाम में मेंशन करना है. 1 is कैबिनेट मिनिस्टर एंड सेकेंड इज मिनिस्टर ऑफ स्टेट. नाउ मिनिस्टर ऑफ स्टेट में ही कुछ ऐसे होंगे जिसको इंडिपेंडेंट चार्ज होगा, बट दे आर नॉट 2 सेपरेट रैंक्स, वो बिल्कुल सेम है. So second rank is minister of state, and few minister of states are without ministry, and exceptionally few are head of ministries, and third is deputy minister. तो यदि आए कि कितने रैंक हैं तो 3 हैं, 4 नहीं. So here we saw the first thing, and what is that first thing? Rank types of ministers. So let me summarize things till here. We are discussing the difference between the council of ministers and the cabinet minister and the cabinet. So first difference is council of ministers is a larger body which consists of the prime minister and all ministers. And what are those all ministers? The cabinet ministers, minister of state independent charge, and deputy minister. Cabinet minister is a minister who is in charge, who is the head of ministry, and he has the right to participate in the meetings of cabinet. Then minister of state is below the rank of cabinet minister. He is head of a department and works under the supervision of cabinet minister and cannot participate in the meetings of cabinet. Then minister of state independent charge. He has the rank of a state minister, minister of state. But he is the in charge, he is the head of a ministry, and in his ministry a cabinet minister is not appointed. He can occasionally participate in the meetings of the cabinet. Then deputy minister is a minister who is at the lowest rank. He is neither head of ministry nor head of department. Rather, he is like an assistant to the cabinet minister and the minister of state. Now this is the first and most important difference between the cabinet and the council of ministers. Now I would like to know from you whether things are clear till here or not. अब आप मुझे बताएंगे कमेंट करके कि यहां तक की चीजें आपको क्लियर हैं या नहीं. Yes or no, you have to tell me. Are things clear till here? Are things clear till here? Yeah, clear. So that means let us proceed from here. अब यहां से आगे चलते हैं. ये क्या था? पहला डिफरेंस. किसके बीच का पहला डिफरेंस? काउंसिल ऑफ मिनिस्टर्स एंड कैबिनेट. नाउ लेट अस कम टू सेकेंड डिफरेंस. द सेम टॉपिक, कैबिनेट एंड काउंसिल ऑफ मिनिस्टर्स. सेकेंड डिफरेंस बिटवीन द काउंसिल ऑफ मिनिस्टर्स एंड द कैबिनेट. तो सेकेंड लिखो, मैं लिखवा रहा हूं. दूसरा, इन थियरी write down, in theory, important decisions are taken. Second difference, अभी तक पहला चल रहा, in theory, important decisions are taken by the Council of Ministers. In theory, important decisions are taken by the Council of Ministers. Council of Ministers. But in practice, the cabinet takes important decisions. But in practice, the cabinet takes important decisions. In practice, the cabinet takes important decisions. Therefore, the cabinet is called wheel within wheel. Therefore, the cabinet is called wheel within wheel. कैबिनेट को इसीलिए हम कहते हैं wheel within wheel. Therefore, the cabinet is called wheel within wheel. The cabinet is called wheel within wheel. Now, there may be a short note on this. Cabinet is wheel within wheel. Cabinet is wheel within wheel. इसका मतलब कि if a question comes wheel within wheel, so just you have to explain the structure that we discussed earlier. This is Council of Ministers and this is Cabinet. So, first wheel of power is Council of Ministers, but the real wheel is Cabinet. और इसके बीच में बैठा है Prime Minister, who controls the whole system. So, this is a parliamentary system which is often called Cabinet system. Cabinet is wheel within wheel. तो अगर ये क्वेश्चन आए तो पूरा काउंसिल ऑफ मिनिस्टर्स, 4 टाइप्स ऑफ मिनिस्टर्स, वो सब बता के दिखाओ कि विद इन काउंसिल ऑफ मिनिस्टर्स वी हैव a small group called cabinet and that actually performs the task of council of ministers in practice. So second difference between the council of ministers and the cabinet goes like this. In theory, the decisions are to be taken by the council of ministers. So remember article 74 clause 1. There shall be a council of ministers. वहां पर क्या वर्ड है? Council of ministers. To aid and advise the president. Then 42nd, 44th amendment we all know. So there shall be a council of ministers to aid and advise the president. That means, in theory, the president should act on the advice of the council of ministers, the larger body. But in India as well as Britain, ये दोनों देशों में, in India as well as Britain, we have a conventional task or a convention by convention in both the countries. The meeting of council of ministers doesn't take place because that is such a large body. उसमें छोटे बड़े सभी हैं. Actually, the meetings of cabinet take place. Actually किसकी मीटिंग होगी? कैबिनेट की, जो स्मॉलर वाला है, टॉप जो लीडर्स हैं. So actually the meetings of cabinet takes place. Cabinet takes all the decisions and the prime minister informs the president about the decisions of the cabinet and the president shall consider those to be the decisions of council of ministers. तो 74 क्लॉज 1 में प्रेसिडेंट को लिखा है कि प्रेसिडेंट shall act on the advice of the council of ministers. But president also knows that the meeting of cabinet has taken place and this is a parliamentary convention, and the prime minister would also show that this is the advice of the council of ministers, though it is the advice of cabinet. तो एक्चुअली किसकी मीटिंग होती है? कैबिनेट की, और उसी को किस नाम से बताया जाता है? काउंसिल ऑफ मिनिस्टर्स. and therefore real decision maker is not Council of Ministers. Within the Council of Ministers we have a cabinet, and real decision maker, real policy maker is cabinet, therefore it is wheel within wheel. तो सेकेंड डिफरेंस क्या हो गया कि वो थियरी में सारे काम करता है बट प्रैक्टिकली उसके सारे काम कौन करता है, कैबिनेट. सो ये सेकेंड हो गया. नाउ राइट डाउन थर्ड. तीसरा क्या डिफरेंस है कैबिनेट और काउंसिल ऑफ मिनिस्टर्स में. सो राइट डाउन. द कॉन्स्टिट्यूशन ऑफ इंडिया, write down, the Constitution of India generally mentions, the Constitution of India generally mentions the Council of Ministers, generally mentions the Council of Ministers, generally mentions the Council of Ministers. The term cabinet has only been used, the term cabinet has only been used, the term cabinet has only been used, has only been used, has only been used in Article 352. The term cabinet has only been used in Article 352. The term cabinet has only been used in Article 352. Only been used in Article 352. Article 352. So, if you see the Constitution of India, the term Council of Ministers has been used frequently. For example, Article 74, Article 75, Article 78, Article 164. So there are many articles, and in all such articles we find the term the Council of Ministers. तो हमारा कॉन्स्टिट्यूशन बेसिकली किस टर्म को मेंशन करता है, काउंसिल ऑफ मिनिस्टर्स. एंड mostly we have the word council of ministers, but the term cabinet has only been used in one article, only at one place, and that is Article 352. So by and large our constitution recognizes the Council of Ministers. The word cabinet has been used in Article 352 only. Now you see, as far as the original constitution is concerned, that means the constitution that was enforced on 26th January 1950, the original constitution nowhere used the term cabinet. जो हमारा मेन ओरिजिनल कॉन्स्टिट्यूशन था उसमें तो कहीं कैबिनेट वर्ड था ही नहीं. बट वी नो दैट दिस टर्म कैबिनेट वाज इंसर्टेड in Article 352 by 44th Amendment 1978. तो ये टर्म 44th अमेंडमेंट के द्वारा. एंड रिमेंबर जब पढ़ा था इमरजेंसी पास, दैट नेशनल इमरजेंसी कैन बी डिक्लेयर्ड बाय द प्रेसिडेंट ओनली ऑन द रिटन एडवाइस ऑफ द कैबिनेट. तो हमारा जो कॉन्स्टिट्यूशन है वो बेसिकली किसको यूज करता है, टर्म काउंसिल ऑफ मिनिस्टर्स. एंड द टर्म कैबिनेट has been used only at one place, and that is Article 352. So here we discussed first thing in the topic the Council of Ministers. And what is that? We discussed what is the difference between the Council of Ministers and the Cabinet. अब ये बताओ कि आर द थिंग्स क्लियर टिल हियर, यहां तक की चीजें अगर क्लियर हैं. सो एट ऐप ऑल्सो यू आर, एंड यूट्यूब पे भी आप दोनों जगह हैं. सो जस्ट टेल मी कि ये पहली चीज क्लियर है कि नहीं. व्हाट इज द फर्स्ट थिंग कि व्हाट इज द डिफरेंस बिटवीन द कैबिनेट एंड द काउंसिल ऑफ मिनिस्टर्स, ये क्लियर है या नहीं. देन आई विल मूव फर्दर, तब मैं इससे आगे चलूंगा. इज इट क्लियर? वेटिंग फॉर योर रिस्पॉन्स, एंड आई नो इट टेक्स few seconds for your response to come. Few seconds लगते हैं. The types of ministers and further the difference between the cabinet and the council of ministers. Okay, if it is clear, then let us move further. So here we saw the difference between the council of ministers and the cabinet. अब आते हैं दूसरी चीज पर. So do deputy ministers actually has the power to advise president? No. Deputy ministers do not participate in the meetings of cabinet. तो इसलिए कोई भी पॉलिसी डिसीजन को डेप्यूटी मिनिस्टर डिस्कस नहीं करेगा. दैट शैल बी ओनली डिस्कस्ड बाय द कैबिनेट एंड कैबिनेट कंसिस्ट ऑफ कैबिनेट मिनिस्टर्स. तो इसलिए डेप्यूटी मिनिस्टर की पॉलिसी मेकिंग में कोई जिम्मेदारी नहीं है. इन प्रैक्टिस ऑल्सो दे डू नॉट. डेप्यूटी मिनिस्टर बहुत छोटा है, वो बहुत छोटा है, अभी पॉलिटिक्स में बहुत नया है. सो जनरली दे आर ओनली असिस्टेंट्स. तो असिस्टेंट डिसीजन मेकिंग में पार्टिसिपेट नाइदर इन थियरी नॉर इन प्रैक्टिस दे पार्टिसिपेट. हाँ, अब आते हैं अगले ये पे, साइज ऑफ काउंसिल ऑफ मिनिस्टर्स. काउंसिल ऑफ मिनिस्टर्स के साइज पर आते हैं. इसका मतलब कि काउंसिल ऑफ मिनिस्टर्स में कितने मेंबर्स हो सकते हैं. व्हाट इज द साइज ऑफ द काउंसिल ऑफ मिनिस्टर्स, उस पर आते हैं. उसमें कितने मेंबर्स हो सकते हैं. साइज ऑफ द काउंसिल ऑफ मिनिस्टर्स. सो आवर ओरिजिनल कॉन्स्टिट्यूशन डिड नॉट मेंशन एनी साइज. तो हमारा जो ओरिजिनल कॉन्स्टिट्यूशन था उसमें कोई साइज है ही नहीं. किसका? काउंसिल ऑफ मिनिस्टर्स का. और ऐसा कोई आर्टिकल नहीं है जो ये बताता है कि काउंसिल ऑफ मिनिस्टर्स में कितने होंगे मिनिस्टर्स. सो ओरिजिनल कॉन्स्टिट्यूशन डिड नॉट मेंशन. बट अब ये प्रीलिम्स के लिए वीवीआई फैक्ट है. 91st अमेंडमेंट एक्ट, 91st अमेंडमेंट एक्ट 2003, 91st अमेंडमेंट एक्ट 2003, and this amendment act provides for the size of the council of ministers. अब इसके द्वारा काउंसिल ऑफ मिनिस्टर्स का साइज है. एंड वी हैव द सेम एक्ट, दैट मीन्स 91st कॉन्स्टिट्यूशन अमेंडमेंट एक्ट. और ये प्रीलिम्स में भी पूछा गया, आईएएस में भी और पीसीएस में भी ये फैक्ट. तो कौन सा अमेंडमेंट है? 91st. कब हुआ था? 2003. एंड बाय द सेम एक्ट, 91st अमेंडमेंट एक्ट, द साइज ऑफ द यूनियन काउंसिल ऑफ मिनिस्टर्स जो मोदी जी वाला है, एंड द साइज ऑफ स्टेट काउंसिल ऑफ मिनिस्टर्स हैज बीन फिक्स्ड. तो दोनों एक के ही द्वारा फिक्स किया गया. Same. Now let us see what is the strength, what is the size of union. Union मतलब सेंट्रल गवर्नमेंट, मोदी जी वाला. एंड what is the state, किसी स्टेट का क्या है साइज. सो फर्स्ट, यूनियन काउंसिल ऑफ मिनिस्टर्स. फॉर दिस वी हैव आर्टिकल 75 क्लॉज 1A. आर्टिकल 75 क्लॉज 1A. 75 क्लॉज 1A. इसका मतलब कि यूनियन काउंसिल ऑफ मिनिस्टर्स का साइज फिक्स है. और अब जो साइज फिक्स है 91st अमेंडमेंट के द्वारा 75 क्लॉज 1A, एंड दिस वाज इंसर्टेड बाय 91st अमेंडमेंट. नाउ लेट अस सी अकॉर्डिंग टू दिस व्हाट इज द मैक्सिमम and what is the minimum strength of union. अभी याद करो किसकी बात हो रही है? यूनियन वाले, गवर्नमेंट ऑफ इंडिया वाले. सो व्हाट इज द मैक्सिमम, और व्हाट कैन बी द मैक्सिमम स्ट्रेंथ, एंड व्हाट कैन बी द मिनिमम स्ट्रेंथ ऑफ यूनियन काउंसिल ऑफ मिनिस्टर्स, उसका मैक्सिमम क्या होगा और मिनिमम क्या होगा। सो मैक्सिमम राइट डाउन 15% ऑफ टोटल स्ट्रेंथ ऑफ लोकसभा, फिफ्टीन परसेंट ऑफ टोटल स्ट्रेंथ ऑफ लोकसभा, 15% of total strength of Lok Sabha. In bracket you write including the Prime Minister. Including the Prime Minister. 15% of total strength of Lok Sabha including the Prime Minister. इसका मतलब इसको समझते हैं कि क्या है 15% of total strength of Lok Sabha including the Prime Minister. That means presently Lok Sabha has 543 total. तो इसका 15% करो, so it comes 81. So as far as presently अभी का जो नंबर है, फिगर है, what can be, what is supposed to be the maximum strength of Union Council of Ministers, it is 81, can be 81. Maximum, उससे कम भी होगा, but maximum. Now this 81 means the Prime Minister plus 80. Because you remember Prime Minister is also a minister. तो 81 का मतलब हो गया कि प्राइम मिनिस्टर तो है ही, बिसाइड्स द प्राइम मिनिस्टर 80 अदर मिनिस्टर्स. सो दैट इज द मैक्सिमम स्ट्रेंथ ऑफ यूनियन, 15% ऑफ टोटल स्ट्रेंथ ऑफ लोकसभा. नाउ एज फार एज द मिनिमम, कम से कम कितने होंगे, सो मिनिमम स्ट्रेंथ एट यूनियन इज नॉट मेंशन्ड. अभी भी हमारे कॉन्स्टिट्यूशन में यूनियन में कितने होंगे उसका सारा स्ट्रेंथ मेंशन नहीं है. मिनिमम स्ट्रेंथ इज नॉट मेंशन्ड एज फार एज द यूनियन इज कंसर्न. यूनियन में मिनिमम स्ट्रेंथ मेंशन नहीं. तो दिस वी सॉ द स्ट्रेंथ ऑफ यूनियन काउंसिल ऑफ मिनिस्टर्स कितना होगा, 15% ऑफ टोटल स्ट्रेंथ ऑफ लोकसभा इंक्लूडिंग द प्राइम मिनिस्टर. एंड एज फार एज द मिनिमम इज कंसर्न नथिंग मेंशन. Now let us see the strength of State Council of Ministers. किसी स्टेट में क्या होगा, यूपी में क्या होगा, और इन अदर स्टेट्स what shall be the strength of State Council of Ministers. So for this article 164 clause 1A has been inserted by 91st amendment. तो दोनों की साइज 91st amendment से ही आ रही. But for State Council of Ministers, we have Article 164 Clause 1A. Now this 164 Clause 1A says or talks about the maximum strength of State Council of Ministers. And let us see, is there any minimum strength of State Council of Ministers? Maximum and minimum. So according to Article 164 Clause 1A, the maximum strength, maximum of State Council of Ministers shall be 15% of total strength of State Legislative Assembly, means Vidhan Sabha. So write down 15% of total strength of 15% of total strength of State Legislative Assembly. 15% of total strength of State Legislative Assembly. 15% of total strength of State Legislative Assembly. State Legislative Assembly, and in bracket including the Chief Minister. Including the Chief Minister. Including the Chief Minister. So for example, UP State Legislative Assembly का strength total हो सकता है 403. That means 15% of 403. That means 60. Now 60 including the CM. CM is also minister. That means chief minister plus 59. Chief minister plus 59. तो ये किसका हो गया? यूनियन स्टेट का मैक्सिमम. नाउ एज फार एज द मिनिमम स्ट्रेंथ इज कंसर्न, जब हम मिनिमम की बात फॉर यूनियन काउंसिल ऑफ मिनिस्टर्स, we do not have any prescribed minimum strength or minimum limit, but for state council of ministers a minimum limit has also been prescribed. So state में minimum, what is that? So write down, every state write down shall have minimum, every state shall have minimum 12 ministers. Every state shall have minimum 12 ministers. Minimum strength shall be 12. So there is a comment, last year in Haryana 14 ministers were made, but 15% or 90 is 13.5. 13.5. Now you see there is a gray area and PIL is filed in High Court. PIL तो फाइल होगा, but now इसको थोड़ा सा कैलकुलेट करो. 90 हरियाणा, बहुत अच्छा आपने क्वेश्चन रेज किया, तो 90 है एंड 19 का 15%. So it is like that. Of course 13.5 calculation is right. Now you see 13.5, how it can be calculated, कैसे 14 का लॉजिक क्या था? Here it is 0.5 and in India at many places we have this point system. For example reservation of seats. तो शेड्यूल कास्ट के लिए 15% है और उसको जब टोटल सीट से किया तो फॉर एग्जांपल सीट आ गई 8.4 आ सकती है. ओबीसी के लिए जब कैलकुलेट किया तो आ गया 19.6, किसी के लिए आ गया 18.5. तो पॉइंट का क्या हिसाब? तो जनरली वी गो फॉर राउंडिंग ऑफ. राउंडिंग ऑफ मीन्स टिल 0.4 we take the previous number. So 8.4 generally would mean 8. But 0.5, 0.6, 0.7, 0.8, 0.9, that 0.5 onwards, we take the next number. So 19.6 is generally treated as 20 and 18.5 is generally treated as 19. So this may be the plea that this means 14, but you know that ultimately the court shall decide that can we take a rounding off here. But of course PIL has been filed, but the government's logic would be this, that since the figures come 13.5 and had it been 13.4, so they could not go for 14. But since it is 13.5, so there is a gray area, they can go for 14. But anyway, good question and good observation कि हरियाणा में 14 ministers, last year in Haryana 14 ministers were made, but 15% of 90 seat is 13.5. PIL is filed in High Court, होगा ही होगा. क्यों? क्योंकि उससे ज्यादा आप नहीं करेंगे. बट अब देखो कोर्ट डिसाइड करेगा कि वो क्या था और कैसा था. सो फॉर यूपी 403, so maximum 60 minister. But surprisingly in state or for state we have minimum also. So a question would arise in your mind that at union level we do not have any minimum figure. इधर कोई मिनिमम नहीं है यूनियन, बट फॉर स्टेट वी हैव अ लाइन दैट देयर मस्ट बी 12. सो कैनॉट बी लेस देन 12 इन एनी स्टेट. 12 तो होने ही. व्हाई? नाउ यू सी द रीजन बिहाइंड दिस. वी नो दैट यूनियन में तो एक ही काउंसिल ऑफ मिनिस्टर्स बननी है, गवर्नमेंट ऑफ इंडिया एक ही है, बट स्टेट्स आर मेनी. And स्टेट्स इन इंडिया आर एसिमेट्रिक इन नेचर। एसिमेट्रिक का मतलब कि उनकी स्टेटस सेम नहीं है। सो अकॉर्डिंग टू पॉपुलेशन you have allocated legislative assembly seats to the states। तो यूपी बड़ा स्टेट है पॉपुलेशन में, इनफैक्ट लार्जेस्ट, मैक्सिमम पॉपुलेशन। सो मैक्सिमम नंबर ऑफ असेंबली सीट्स 403। हरियाणा हैज लेस पॉपुलेशन देन यूपी, तो पॉपुलेशन के अकॉर्डिंग उसको 90 सीट्स। ऑन द बेसिस ऑफ पॉपुलेशन वी हैव allocated seats to states। Now take the example of two states। One is UP, where the total number of assembly seat is 403। ये यूपी में 403 मैक्सिमम। एंड टेक अनदर एग्जांपल गोवा, एक स्मॉल स्टेट है और यहां पर केवल 40 सीट्स है। कहां पे? असेंबली में, तो 10 टाइम्स लेसर। नाउ इन केस ऑफ यूपी यू कैन हैव मैक्सिमम 60 मिनिस्टर्स, रिमेंबर 15%। तो यूपी में तो आप 60 कर सकते हैं योगी जी, नो प्रॉब्लम। इवन इन हरियाणा यू कैन गो फॉर 13-14। बट गोवा में आप मैक्सिमम कितना रख सकते हैं? 6, क्योंकि 15%। नाउ गोवा कैन हैव ओनली 6। नाउ इन दिस 6, एक तो चीफ मिनिस्टर ही हो गया, तो मैक्सिमम 5 ही होंगे। तो जो जनरली काम करने वाले होंगे वो तो 5 ही होंगे, क्योंकि चीफ मिनिस्टर तो एक सुपरवाइजर। ये 5 मिनिस्टर हैं, उसको पूरा गोवा संभाल। नाउ वेदर अ स्टेट इज अ बिग स्टेट और अ स्मॉल स्टेट, दैट इज अ डिफरेंट थिंग। बट वेदर a state is big state or a small state, ministries are generally same। एक दो इधर उधर होंगे, बाय एंड लार्ज सेम नंबर ऑफ मिनिस्ट्रीज। तो होम मिनिस्ट्री गोवा में भी है, यूपी में भी है। फाइनेंस मिनिस्ट्री यूपी में भी है, गोवा में भी। हेल्थ, एजुकेशन, व्हाटएवर, दोनों में है। बट यूपी हैज सफिशिएंट नंबर ऑफ मिनिस्टर्स टू टेक केयर ऑफ दोज मिनिस्ट्रीज। बट अगर गोवा को आप देखोगे अकॉर्डिंग टू मैक्सिमम रूल, तो मैक्सिमम 6 हो पाएगा, उसमें भी 5 ही काम करने वाले हैं, एक तो सीएम। नाउ प्रैक्टिकली 5 मिनिस्टर्स have to handle, for example, 20 ministries, 4 ministries for each। now working days 5 होते हैं, 6 होते हैं केवल, इसमें छुट्टियां भी होती है। सो प्रैक्टिकली स्पीकिंग एक मिनिस्ट्री का नंबर एक मिनिस्टर के लिए वीक में एक दिन आएगा। हाउ कैन द बिजनेस ऑफ द गवर्नमेंट रन एफिशिएंटली? सप्ताह में एक दिन जाएगा, very difficult। now each minister is holding 4 or 5 ministries, therefore a logical number 12 has been taken, whether the state is big or small, ये बड़ा है या छोटा है। लेकिन 12 is a reasonable number, क्योंकि अब गोवा छोटा स्टेट है, तो ठीक है मिनिस्ट्री जिसमें सारे, बट मिनिस्ट्री में यूपी की तुलना में वर्कलोड कम है, क्योंकि छोटा सा स्टेट है। तो इसीलिए 12 has been considered to be a reasonable figure, and therefore article 164 clause 1 says that there shall be minimum 12 minister in every state। हर स्टेट में कम से कम कितने मिनिस्टर होंगे? 12। तो there shall be minimum 12 ministers in every state। so here we saw the size of the council of ministers। हमने देख लिया कि काउंसिल ऑफ मिनिस्टर्स का साइज क्या है। अगर सिंपल बात करें तो इन द ओरिजिनल कॉन्स्टिट्यूशन नो साइज वाज मेंशन, बट नाउ वी हैव द साइज एंड दैट इज 91st अमेंडमेंट। नाउ अकॉर्डिंग टू 91st अमेंडमेंट द साइज ऑफ यूनियन काउंसिल ऑफ मिनिस्टर्स, एंड दिस इज 75 clause 1A, द मैक्सिमम 15% of Lok Sabha including the PM, minimum not mentioned। And according to the same 91st amendment, the size of state council of ministers, and that is article 164 clause 1A, maximum 15% of state legislative assembly including the CM, and minimum 12 ministers in every state। Now till here थिंग्स आर मेंशन्ड इन द कॉन्स्टिट्यूशन। यहां तक जो पढ़ा कॉन्स्टिट्यूशन। अब थोड़ा सा आते हैं इससे संबंधित लॉजिक या रीजनिंग असर्शन पर। इससे संबंधित थोड़े से रीजनिंग की और रीजनिंग असर्शन की बात करता हूं। रीजनिंग असर्शन को देखते हैं। सो रिमेंबर नाउ द कैबिनेट एंड द काउंसिल ऑफ मिनिस्टर्स। कैबिनेट एंड द काउंसिल ऑफ मिनिस्टर्स। So our constitution in 164 clause 1A also gives a general strength of ministry. तो 75 क्लॉज 1 हो या 164 क्लॉज 1 हो, एक जनरल बात करता है कि काउंसिल ऑफ मिनिस्टर्स में मैक्सिमम इतने हो सकते हैं। नाउ व्हाट शैल बी द एग्जैक्ट नंबर ऑफ कैबिनेट मिनिस्टर, मिनिस्टर ऑफ स्टेट, Minister of State independent charge, Deputy Minister, that is nowhere given. So the configuration within the Council of Ministers has not been mentioned. एक जनरल लमसम बता दिया कि ओवरऑल फिगर ये। नाउ टेक्निकली कैन वी से, इसका जवाब आपको देना यस और नो, यस और नो। एक स्टेटमेंट बोल रहा हूं, उसको आपको जवाब देना है यस और नो। कैन वी से that in India the size of council of ministers is determined. The size of council of ministers is now determined, but the size of the cabinet still is not mentioned. Size of the cabinet is not mentioned. तो मंत्रिपरिषद का आकार निर्धारित है, मंत्रिमंडल का आकार निर्धारित नहीं है। इज इट ट्रू और फॉल्स? ये स्टेटमेंट इस पूरे इंफॉर्मेशन के अनुसार सही है? वी हैव द फिक्स साइज फॉर काउंसिल ऑफ मिनिस्टर्स बट द साइज ऑफ कैबिनेट इज नॉट डिसाइडेड। ट्रू और फॉल्स? जस्ट टेल मी। वेट कर रहा हूं आपके कमेंट्स का कि बताओ कि साइज ऑफ काउंसिल ऑफ मिनिस्टर्स इज ट्रू और फॉल्स। Size of council of ministers is decided, but the size of cabinet is not decided. True or false? Just tell me कि ये जब मैं कह रहा हूं बात तो ये सही है या गलत है, whether it is true or false. Now we have comments running fast. So it is true. Yes, very good. Of course it is true. तो जब भी कभी ऐसे स्टेटमेंट्स आए कि काउंसिल ऑफ मिनिस्टर्स का साइज फिक्स है, यस। कैबिनेट का साइज फिक्स है, नहीं। सो इट इज फिक्स दैट मोदी जी शैल हैव मैक्सिमम 81, 1 + 80 मिनिस्टर्स। बट हाउ मेनी कैबिनेट मिनिस्टर्स? नॉट मेंशन। हाउ मेनी मिनिस्टर्स ऑफ स्टेट? नॉट मेंशन। हाउ मेनी डेप्यूटी? नॉट मेंशन। एंड हाउ मेनी इंडिपेंडेंट चार्ज? नॉट मेंशन। दिस स्टिल इज एट द डिस्क्रिप्शन ऑफ द प्राइम मिनिस्टर। सो इन टूडेज lecture, today's discussion, we saw two important things regarding Council of Ministers. अभी दो ही चीज देख पाए। One, what is the difference between the Council of Ministers and the Cabinet? That is first. And second, what is the size of the Council of Ministers? Now, certain more things still are left in this topic, Council of Ministers, but that we will see in the next class. So, if you have any doubts, if you have any queries, if you have anything to ask or comment regarding today's class, then you are free. Now, I will wait for 1 minute to take your comments or doubts. तो किसी को कोई doubt है तो बताओ, and if no doubt, then you can write that no doubt, everything is clear. So that I could. तो अगर सब कुछ यहां तक ठीक है, देन वेल एंड गुड। अगर कोई डाउट है तो आप पूछ सकते हैं, और नहीं है डाउट तो आप बताओ। आप जस्ट ये मेंशन करो कि एवरीथिंग इज क्लियर, नो डाउट। इफ एवरीथिंग इज क्लियर देन जस्ट टेल मी। और कोई डाउट है तो वो भी करो। आई विल वेट फॉर ऑल क्लियर। वेरी गुड, गुड, ऑल क्लियर। Yes, sir, clear. That means things are clear to all. There is no much complexity here. और जितना है उसको हम लोग मैक्सिमम एक्सप्लेन कर ही रहे। सो आई थिंक वी शुड एंड टुडेज क्लास। आज की क्लास को खत्म करते हैं। सो Clear, all clear. So now people are all commenting clear. So if everything is clear, then no need to further take questions. सारे जब clear ही हैं and you have no question. So let us stop today. Take care of your health, happiness, and we will discuss things in the next class. We will continue from here. तो अभी तक दो चीजें कर लिया, इसके बाद we will discuss in the next class. Thank you. जय हिंद.